Good Sunday afternoon, everybody. Meteorologist Casey Cloud here in the Weather Center right now. It's a severe thunderstorm warning in play for parts of Leon and McCulloch counties until about 4:15. This storm right there on the Tallahassee airport. And in fact, before the warning was issued here, there was a gust reported near severe limits. They're just under 50 miles an hour reported about 10 minutes ago at the Tallahassee airport. So this is a nasty storm. I know it's kind of right over the radar, so you can't see it good in this mode. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it in our composite mode so you can see it a little bit better. It's really impacting Tallahassee. And again, we had a gust there to 49 knots, which is just under that severe threshold, but really prompting that warning to be issued because we are seeing some nasty characteristics with it anyway. And that's just too close there for comfort. When you have a gust that high, you're kind of within that margin for error. You definitely want to go ahead and issue a warning on that. So that's what we have right now. This impacts areas that are around the Tallahassee airport. Gonna go ahead and zoom on in here a little bit right now so you can see what's going on. Just kind of zoom on in toward the view here toward Tallahassee to see what the scenario is here in general. We're just continuing to watch things there very carefully. I'm going to go ahead and go to our other mode right now so you can see what is happening with that wind measurement. Our system's going 56 miles an hour there. I know that kind of rounds those knots there into miles an hour. So we haven't had these pop-up storms for a while, really getting warnings across our 62 county area. But looking like today it's a different story here. We had a little bit higher rain chance for this Sunday. And right now, Leon and McCulloch warning is in play here. So that warning going to 4:15. It had been a couple weeks since we've been getting many warnings here in play. We had one earlier out toward Franklin, a more rural area out toward Franklin and Liberty, and then Gulf. A little more population, it seemed, over there, but that was out of our viewing circles as I was moving away in toward Gulf. So didn't come on for that one, but we're coming on here. We're coming on for this one. So that's why we're on the air right now, because of this threat here. I know we're in Bradford County, but again, we cover 62 counties, and we have this warning here in play for winds that have been observed in near severe limits. As it was at 3:28, a severe thunderstorm they were saying was near the community college there in Tallahassee, moving southwest at 25 miles an hour. But Florida State University is technically under this warning. You see some lightning there on the edge of that polygon. So even if you're not getting the worst of the thunderstorm action in terms of the heavy rain and just frequent lightning, one lightning strike, one row strike can be dangerous, if not deadly. We have FAMU under this warning here. We have Crawfordville under this as well. I look in here, Gaither Community Center, Lake Munson, the Ford Community Center, South City, 8 Mile Pond. As I go ahead and zoom out to view just a little bit here, we have Griffin Heights, Tallahassee Airport, obviously, the State Capitol Complex, Appalachia Ridge Estates. So, again, a severe thunderstorm warning in play until about 4:15 here this afternoon. You see some other storms here, a pretty strong one there as we're looking down there in parts of Wakulla County, but it's not severe like this one is right there around Tallahassee. So, again, a pretty nasty storm here right around Tallahassee right now as we're going between some of our different velocity modes. It's kind of in a spot where it's being obscured right now. But again, we had a gust that was reported there to near that severe limit of 58 miles an hour. So squally conditions being indicated there by the METAR report. Excuse me. So again, I just continue to watch things here in the Weather Center right now. Let me go ahead and go back to our other view here as we see this right now live. Again, some nasty conditions there, and it's down to 74 degrees there at the airport. So again, that's in Tallahassee. We'll go back over to this view right now. Again, just some pretty nasty weather there in that higher populated area. It's not the most populated part of Tallahassee, Leon County, but still a pretty nasty storm here in toward this area. So again, still watching this carefully, trying to give you guys the latest information to protect you, your friends, and your family on this Sunday afternoon here. This Sunday afternoon, June 4th, 2023. So let me give you guys an update though on the whole area view. I know we have viewers from all over the region joining us. There's some lighting. I know around Gainesville they got that Gator baseball in for those Gator fans out there. That first Gator baseball game. The second one will be later on there for them. they're in the loser side of things in terms of being on the verge of elimination. They have to win the next two games to get to the Super Region round in the baseball tournament. But right now there's some lightning around, but by later on around 6, I believe, when that's supposed to have that first pitch, the conditions should be a little bit better, I would think. Just based on looking at the radar view right now and seeing its overall pattern and the clearing to the east, but we'll have to watch. It's not a guarantee, but just looking right now, it seems like the timing's working out okay, and that this is kind of in between the games here. But again, you see a strong storm, it looks like, in Hamilton County's vicinity, just to the west of there. In fact, it seems like it's the worst of this out toward Madison County. So again, we're just going to watch things, see if that needs a warning over the next little bit. You can kind of see here really developing as it gets more into Ward Madison. I'll back this up and kind of see that earlier on here, on the view that was more in Hamilton, but now more in Madison. So again, that's kind of the storyline there. But again, you do see a little bit of lightning there. Bradford County, nothing severe right now. As we look on over here, or anything too strong, whenever you hear that thunder roar, you want to go indoors. So seeing some of that lightning there between New River and Brooker, just a little bit. But nonetheless, still one strike can be dangerous, and you see more of those strikes there between La Crosse and Alachua there, and Alachua County. So again, kind of getting that resurgence of those storms here in that picture. Again, just trying to give you guys the latest to protect you, your friends, and your family. You can kind of see here what's happening right now. Tallahassee, that severe thunderstorm warning is still in play. They go to the other view to kind of magnify things a little bit more here. So since with the storminess is right over the airport site, so the radar site there kind of obscures things to a degree. So we'll continue to watch this, continue to track things. Gonna take a quick break here, and we're gonna be back in just about 2 minutes here at 3:45 or more. So I just catch my breath real quick, and we'll be right back here as we continue this live coverage on this Sunday afternoon. Meteorologist Casey Cloud back here in the Weather Center on this Sunday afternoon with another update on that severe thunderstorm warning in play for area there of Leon and McCulloch counties until about 4:15. So definitely seeing some stronger accent around there. It's uncertain, Roy, just exactly how nasty it is at this point, if it's weakened or whatnot, because we're kind of right over the radar site there, so it's kind of obscuring things. It kind of looks like it's weakened some, but it's hard to tell for sure. It kind of developed on us there pretty quickly in toward that area. So let me go ahead and go back to our other mode here. We'll go back to our analyst computer source. You'll be able to kind of see what we're talking about there. It's looking like really the strongest is there on the Leon McCullough line now. But now there's a stronger storm here developing as we get towards southeast Liberty around Smith Creek, a more rural area. We'll watch that to see if it tries to get a little bit more intense. And then we have that storm in Madison County that will have gusts up to about 40 miles an hour west. So again, we'll just have to continue to watch things there. Let me go ahead and zoom out a little bit more. You see that line in Alachua County there. We'll watch that. There are some in southern Marion County. Levy County had a stronger storm trying to develop on it earlier, looking at some of our different algorithms there with the overall intensity of things. So again, though, it's just about that one warning really in terms of us needing to be on the air here on a live stream in terms of me providing commentary, but you also have on YouTube an exclusive source there where you have that radar going, it's looping continuously there on YouTube at Cloud Weather. So hit that subscribe button over there. It's free, and you'll be able to see the radar looping around and around here to kind of give you guys a look at what's going on. So again, this kind of information there. YouTube at Cloud Weather. That's a place where you can find out. You can just go on YouTube.com and search meteorologist Casey Cloud over there as well. That's another option that you have in your toolkit. So again, just watching things. This is nothing that's overwhelming, but we wanted to jump on. This is in a more populated area and is on the verge of really becoming a confirmed severe thunderstorm, because right there under that severe number of 50 miles an hour, that 56 indicating those winds there around 56 miles an hour or so being observed there by the actual anemometer there in the Tallahassee airport area. So again, just continuing to watch things here. Continue to give you guys the latest. You can see here the velocities aren't really just overwhelming or anything, but still we are watching some nastier conditions around here. And again, it's kind of in a bad spot, so I have a feeling if this moves further away from the radar, it'll probably drop this warning though, because it doesn't look as intense as it did. I'll bad this up a little bit. Let's see if we can kind of get a look at how nasty the velocity. Yeah, you can kind of see it there. Right before the warning was issued, you saw some brighter reds and greens there, right over the airport area there. That was around 26 past the hour, right when that report was being confirmed there, really in toward this area. So again, let me go ahead and go forward on the timeline. Current views. I just got a new update here from the Weather Service. They're going to say here that they're continuing this warning for areas of Leon and McCullough counties here till 4:15, unless something changes where they want to drop it earlier on. But for now, they're going to continue this warning. So the latest information just coming down where they're indicating 60-mile-an-hour winds there, and hail that would be just under severe limits, so about 3/4 of an inch in diameter here. So that's kind of the storyline there. You see Tallahassee's downtown kind of cleared out of that, but at 3:48, a severe thunderstorm was located 10 miles northwest of Crawfordville, went southwest at 25 miles an hour. So 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, penny-sized hail, Crawfordville, Hilliardville, Silver Lake Recreation Area, Leon Sinks, 8 Mile Pond as well under this. So moving southwest at 25 miles an hour is the worst of this. Again, it doesn't seem like it's as strong as it was, but it's being obscured a little, because what it is with the radar beam is you're looking so low down you can't even see here. And I think it's not being obscured as much anymore though, and it doesn't look as intense here, because these winds only add up to about 40 miles an hour there, maybe on the higher side even. So nothing that's just overwhelming there. Nothing that's just overwhelming per se. So again, just gonna continue to watch things, continue to effort the latest information in. Let me see if we have any power added numbers coming out of Leon County. I know they had some nasty storms in Texas last night there. Southeast Texas really evolved on us here pretty quickly, so they were getting some outages there. But so far in Leon County, only a handful in the dark, 10 customers at the last check. I mean, it's going to be delayed a few minutes, so that number could go up a little bit, 18 in McCullough County. So that's some good news early on here that maybe the winds weren't too strong over too wide of an area. But we'll just have to continue to look at things here. Again, we don't come on for all severe thunderstorm warnings, especially this time of year, but this is in a more popular area. We were getting indications on the anemometer there that things were getting pretty nasty at the Tallahassee airport, and then in turn they issued the warning right after that. I was already watching it because our indications that our weather center were showing this was developing really quickly here. I mean, it was going from nothing really in one frame to maybe a stronger storm in the next. So that's really kind of dangerous because, I mean, that can indicate lightning really trying to evolve. And whenever you hear that first really roar of that thunder, you want to go indoors because it could be followed by several more lightning strikes, and those could be the ones that put you in danger. So again, just got to be really careful here in this type of setting, this type of setup. You see Crawfordville, some lightning around there, not severe right in Crawfordville, this area, but it is some stronger weather, I would say. No significant weather advisory officially there for downtown Crawfordville necessarily. I know part of Crawfordville under the one of the addresses, but in terms of Crawfordville, this is a different storm, but you're seeing some lightning here, so don't want to be outside right now around Crawfordville in Wakulla County. And again, let's give you an overview here of the region because I know we have viewers joining us from North Central Florida where we're at. We cover all 62 counties here. As I go back over that coverage map real quick before I go to the overview here. Just to emphasize, we're in Bradford, but we cover areas all the way over there, Leon. We don't go on for all thunderstorm warnings this time of year, but we do for all tornado warnings any time of year whenever there's a tornado warning storm moving through any one of our 62 counties. But we haven't had that here today, haven't had that in a while. We'll always watch sometimes a boundary can cause a little spin, but that's not really anything that we're forecasted here on this Sunday, this first Sunday in June. But let's go ahead and go back on over right now to our broad side of things, and you can see that storm a little bit stronger in northwestern Alachua, just east of 75, so maybe some heavier downpours there as we're looking just southwest of La Crosse there. So we'll just continue to watch that. Nothing, again, that's too robust, but whenever you hear that thunder roar, you want to go indoors. We don't come on just for thunderstorms, but at least that radar stream's going there so you can see the lightning when it's evolving here in the more recent frames on that at YouTube there, clouds weather. So again, just something to kind of keep in mind. But we're on right now because of that warning toward Leon and Wakulla, but still storms you don't want to take lightly here because these can be pretty nasty for you. You don't want to take them lightly in toward these areas because the lightning can still be hazardous. You see down toward Otter Creek, there's some lightning. We had a storm close to where Dixie and Taylor lay last night. It was pretty strong. It wasn't severe officially, but still pretty strong. I was keeping my eyes on it there. You can see some stuff there in Southern Marion, getting closer there, not too far from Dunellen and Bellevue here with some of this. So just continuing to watch all our different radar scans here. Okay, they're just going to cancel this warning, so this yellow box is going to go away now because the threat has kind of diminished here on us out toward Leon and Wakulla. So the storyline with this is now that it seems like the worst of the threat here has kind of fallen apart, and it's no longer what we call a severe thunderstorm. So that's the good news as we're looking out there. We had a gust to almost severe limits earlier on, which is really worth noting there as we were getting toward that area there, and that's what prompted this warning. It was already looking pretty strong, but this time of year, I mean, sometimes when you go without a warning for a while, or many warnings, we had one earlier, but without just a whole bunch of warnings, days with the warnings, maybe sometimes you don't really want to have to issue one because you don't want to get people to just have to kind of alter their plans here unless it's more than necessary. But I mean, it is necessary and was necessary here, though. So again, just continuing to watch things here in the Weather Center, checking some different sources. Again, that box went away, but the statement from the Weather Service was that the severe thunderstorm warning for north central Wakulla and southwestern Leon counties is canceled. The storm was prompted a warning has weakened below severe limit and no longer poses an immediate threat to life or property. Therefore, the warning has been canceled. However, gusty winds and heavy rain are still possible with the thunderstorms. So, just kind of looking back at some things. It's kind of important to look back at a few things here in the Weather Center. I'm on my other weather computer right now. I know that was severe thunderstorm warning number 204 for the year out of the Tallahassee office. It's been pretty busy, but not recently. 203 was that one earlier out toward areas of Gulf, Liberty, and Franklin. But then 202, I have to go back here a little bit in the timeline. That was for areas there of Gulf and Liberty back on the 23rd. So it's been a couple weeks here until we had it to Thunderstorm Morning Issue until we had that one earlier I posted about on Facebook and Twitter that wouldn't require me to come on for, but we had it on the radar stream and we had to post there on Facebook and Twitter. But just looking here at my information in the Jacksonville office, I'm just kind of curious to see how many warnings we've had there. Thunderstorm warnings this year. We've had 124 out of that office. Haven't had one though since the 22nd. And just double checking there, that would be, it looks like that Monday there, the 22nd even. So that's been 2 weeks as we get toward tomorrow. So interesting to kind of take note of that here with these storms. So a lot of times this time of year you have these storm warnings almost every day. We had that kind of earlier on, and you normally have it in May. Now we've had a respite, but now we're going to start getting back into that pattern. Some of these days, and today's chance of rain a little bit higher, but when you get those warmer temperatures, those instability values coming into play, we'll get a whole bunch of warnings. I don't think we're going to get a whole bunch of warnings today here. This very well could be the only time we have to come on today in this type of setup. But later on in the week, I know the temperature will be getting a little bit warmer, so that could help with the instability here. So that'll be something to have to monitor here for sure. Let's see some stronger storms. I am seeing some strong storms. Again, nothing that's officially severe here right now, but I'm definitely seeing some stronger storms. Probably to stay with you at the top of the hour here before we wrap it up. But new significant advisory there for areas of, it looks like, Franklin and Wakulla through about 4:30. So again, let's see what we have over there. I'll go ahead and look on over there right now. You can see around Crawfordville there, some heavier downpours. Nothing overwhelming, but gusts there up to 40 possible around Crawfordville, around South Choppy, over toward Buckhorn and Sanborn. And as we look on over toward the west there, you can see 40-mile-an-hour winds a possibility over there as well. Before I wrap it up, I'm just going to ask if you guys have any questions here for me. And it looks like you guys do have some questions for me. So let me go ahead and look here on my other source. So somebody's asking about Minnesota and severe weather. I'll try to answer that here real quickly. I just got a significant weather advisory for Alachua and Gilchrist. We haven't had as many toward the east here today. So I want to go ahead and switch the radar over for our viewers toward the east, since that is now getting a little bit stronger, at least in the eyes of the weather service there in Jacksonville. Not severe, not where I need to be on here, but there's your box there. Brownish polygon just popping up there in the screen, because this is getting a little bit stronger now as I look out there toward parts of Alachua and areas there around Gilchrist. This is a strong thunderstorm near Alachua, the community of Alachua, 12 miles northwest of Gainesville, moving southwest at 15 miles an hour. So Alachua, High Springs, and Newberry here involved with this, as torrential rainfall is occurring here with this thunderstorm, and it may lead to localized flooding, so do not drive your vehicle through flooded roadways. So just got to be careful there. But I know you're asking about Minnesota there, one of our viewers in the chat here on YouTube. So Minnesota, I don't see a severe risk officially today. Strong thunderstorms maybe. I mean, we have a thunderstorm risk, general thunderstorm risk up there. But again, no official severe risk in play. And tomorrow's general thunderstorms as well. So maybe some strong thunderstorms possibly. Again, I'm not really too well versed in exactly what's happening on the micro scale levels of Minnesota weather as we're just looking here. I'll go ahead and move our map up. Let me do that here. Bear with me just a second. I don't want to overwhelm our computer here trying to move it up too quickly, but we'll try to get up there. There's no warnings. I can't just like go straight to it, but we'll try to go up there real quick. There's a warning in Iowa, a couple warnings actually in Iowa. Thunderstorm warnings there south of Davenport. So let me switch on over to other source right now. You can see those. One of those for Des Moines, and it looks like Henry counties, and that's not Des Moines proper, but Des Moines County, which is interesting. Don't recall actually hearing about that one before. That's interesting. You hear two names in one state sometimes, but that's pretty far away there to have a Des Moines County way away from the city of Des Moines. But nonetheless, there, as you can look here, as we get up in north Minnesota, you see some warmer temperatures for sure, but nothing severe right now. Again, the reason I'm addressing this is on YouTube. We had a question about Minnesota and storminess. You see a general thunderstorm risk up here, but I'll get further up toward like Duluth there and some of the other areas there in Minnesota as we get toward the border there, even with Canada. You see some storminess, but nothing severe right now. But then just looking ahead, I know we could have some more active weather later in the month. There's some early indications just nationally that we could have an activer severe weather pattern. So that's something to kind of be thinking about as we look ahead later in the month. There's early indications of that. So maybe toward the middle of the month here. So could be unusual. We had kind of a lull in terms of really just robust severe weather in May across the country, but maybe it kind of starts to catch up a little bit in June here later on. We'll see. Maybe not. I mean, some of the models long range have been pretty far off here at times. They can definitely be. We had Arlene out there. By the way, that wasn't much to talk about. Really, it was just the area in the Gulf. It was kind of keeping our storms away here to work to the thunderstorms, so we weren't really talking about that too much. But now, let's see what else I have here in terms of questions. So, let's see, Brooksville. So, let's see, Brooksville, Florida now. So let me go ahead and show you guys that. You see some storminess around there. Let's get down in here a little bit. You can see some of these different communities. So there's Hernando County. There's Brooksville. And let me switch this over so it doesn't look like it's having anything with the radar beam. But look like, but you can see a stronger thunderstorm there northwest of Brooksville right now. System lightning even closer toward the Brooksville Hernando County Airport right now. So if you're around there, you don't want to be outside for sure because that lightning's a little bit too close. But I mean, even around Brooksville, here you're getting into some rain. It looks like here maybe some light shower activity. This might be overdoing it a little because I'm having to switch modes because this is a higher kind of reflectivity mode. This is more accurate, but we're getting a little bit of a weird thing with the radar. There's not a hole in the axle there. But, so we'll watch around Brooksville. You see Wiki Watchy there as well, kind of getting in towards some accent there. Let me switch to our Tampa site then. I'm going to see what's going on there in toward Hernando since you guys asked me about that there on YouTube. So let's go ahead and switch on over right now toward our Tampa radar site so I can kind of isolate this just a little bit here. So yeah, you don't see a significant advisory or anything like that there, but you do see some nastier accent closer toward US 98 there in Hernando County. You can see how we've had that storm formation really take place over the last 20 minutes. I mean, just kind of there around US 19 even. Nothing severe, nothing overwhelming. A little bit of gusty wind there, maybe a little bit of small hail up in towards Citrus County, but with that indication, but nothing overwhelming there. I mean, just asked me that question here about 10 minutes ago, and even since then, it's kind of intensified a little bit more there, some of this accent. So, again, just trying to answer these questions here where we don't have a warning in play, and probably being really in a situation where we're about to wrap this up. So, again, I know, let me check Gator Baseball. I know I'm a Seminole fan here, folks, and following along really in a big way the softball at Oklahoma City for FSU. And they'll be playing again tomorrow evening there. The weather's held out better than it could have, considering how started off there with some storminess earlier on. That was kind of more scattered. Should have had maybe higher chances coming to play, and they've gotten lucky as of last check there so far in toward that area. So that's the good news for them. Let me go ahead and kind of look at some different maps here, though. In the weather center, I'm going to the national view right now. I do see some weather there off toward the west and south of Weatherford. That looks a little bit nastier. Kind of go ahead and zoom in. Not too much around Oklahoma City right now. They kind of just show that to you guys real quick though. But you see a storm there around north of Hobart there in Oklahoma. We'll watch that. But right now looking okay. There's some scattered showers around Oklahoma City, it looks like. So that's the good news there. But the question here, just in my mind, about Gator Baseball here, and the weather generally always plays a big role with delays. It hadn't happened so far, but right now we have to keep our eyes on things because storms are not too far away. But right now there's no information on any type of delays. That's some good news. We don't ever want to see that in any sport if we can help it. I mean, there may always be an advantage. In theory, there may be Gator baseball fans or Texas Tech baseball fans based on pitching. Things can kind of change on you a little bit or maybe help or hurt you based on having a delay or a postponement or something. So, but in general, you don't really want to have delays here in terms of these overall scenarios. I know in softball, you can have delays, and pitching, it can help or hurt you as well. So depending on the situation that you're in. So that's always important to kind of factor in. No warnings right now in the area. If we have more warnings, either post about them or come on for them here, depending on how things kind of set up on us. So they go back to the overview here. You can see some stuff when you have those triangles that are filled in there. So the storm that may be getting closer to severe. There's one of those over land right now in northwestern Citrus. So we'll watch for Levy and that vicinity there. Hopefully things don't go severe on us, but there's always that chance. So we have the different accounts there. I know Levy County is not covered by the auto alerts, but I always put it on there if we ever have a warning for Levy. But the other counties in our area, plus additional counties that are not in our area, are covered in that auto alert on Twitter account there at Cloud Discovery X. You know, Twitter at Cloud Casey there. That's where we're streaming some coverage right now. Same with Twitch there and YouTube and then the Facebook accounts as well. So again, just trying to keep you guys abreast of the situation here across our region. There are some warnings, by the way, just looking across the country right now. Flash flood warnings, Texas, New Mexico, Colorado, and then in terms of severe thunderstorm warnings, we have severe thunderstorm warnings there toward areas there further out in Texas a little bit. Let's go over there real quick. I see that storm in Wakulla is getting a little bit stronger. I might go back to that. We see this area here. We have severe thunderstorm warning there. That's in the Texas Panhandle. We had a tornado warning earlier in Amarillo, which is kind of interesting to see pop up on it. See a margin risk of severe weather there west of San Antonio. A couple warnings there. Severe thunderstorm warnings in play there. So looks like somebody I went to school with at FSU actually is doing an update on one of these here. And probably just the warnings in general here in the Wardeth area. So again, continuing to watch things as we're getting out there west of San Antonio with that threat there for some 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts and also a threat for quarter-size hail as well in those two different areas. And then we have the warning areas in Iowa. We have one right now. We have one in Kentucky, Bell and Harlan counties up there. A pretty rural area, it looks like here from first glance. So just trying to give you guys an update because things have been pretty calm lately on that severe weather front here. I talked about Wakulla. That storm's getting a little bit stronger there. So let me see you guys what we're talking about so I can kind of give you guys at least a little bit of notice there for Wakulla in case we get another warning to be issued here. Seems like the worst is starting to move toward the west side of Crawfordville now. As I go over to this view, you can kind of see here and even outside of town. So as we kind of zoom on in now, oh yeah, it looks like it's trying to intensify a little bit there. But it may be a situation depending on population density here. As I zoom back out, this is moving off toward the southwest. So yeah, this would be kind of following along with some of the other storms earlier on. Kind of an idea of what the track might be with this, and you can kind of see it's more rural. So probably wouldn't have to come back on for that. Eastern African advisory for Levy areas there on Levy County. So we'll be watching that area there as well. This stuff I was just talking about one now. Threat for stronger storm to 445 or so. Okay, they just issued a warning for Wakulla, so I'm glad we stayed on here then. I won't stay on too long with it because it's not a situation here where I think it's just in the most populated areas here, but nonetheless, we're kind of closer to town right now than we would be maybe later on here in terms of Crawfordville or more population density. I mean, it's moving over to some pretty rural zones. You see Sanborn later on. You see Choppy there, kind of on the edge of this, but you see some greens and reds here in play. So just kind of align this a little bit with the exact direction. I try to combine some words there, but you can see here looking at towards Sanborn over the next little bit. Just kind of keeping our eyes here on how this tracks, but it's not something we're really covering over a more populated area. I'll look at the homes here in terms of topography. I've already over the rural area here, so that's the storyline there. I mean, this warning's going to go to about 445 for parts of Wakulla and the Big Bend, but it's not include areas there. It does not include areas there around Crawfordville proper. So downtown I'm talking about. So that's the good news here. I mean, you have some of the homes out here on the west side of town included, but really already probably the worst of this is moving further off toward the south and west of them based on the radar scans. So again, that's kind of the storyline there right now. Let me see what's going on. I know we really don't cover Minnesota too much, by the way. I see that question here in the chat on YouTube. We're just we focus on those local concerns in our 62 counties in general. We do cover national stories when they're really relevant, and there's been situations occasionally where we have big national stories to talk about in Minnesota, but it's not something that is really where we have very many stories here that we have to talk about out of Minnesota in general. But just keep kind of following along here with me because if there's some big tornado outbreak up there, it might be something we need to be on the air for. That's not something we're anticipating here in the short term, as we talked about a moment ago. So that's the good news. But we'll continue to watch things here in the Weather Center. Continue to give you the latest. Again, we do have a new warning. This might be a downburst signature to some degree, trying to evolve on us here, some wind signature. This is over more rural areas, so there might be a few people out here, but in general, we're not talking about much in the way of population density. By the way, had that wind gust of 56 miles an hour earlier at Tallahassee Airport. So something that was worth noting there for sure. It's just on the screen. So that's pretty high gust. And let me take power outages again here. I'm about to wrap things up, I think, since that warning again is pretty rural area. Generally, we just post about it, but since we're already on, just talk about it instead of doing that here. Give you a little bit of an update there on what's going on. We do have no customers listed out in Leon, but 270 in McCulloch County there in the dark at this point. So some of that lighting, maybe something being knocked down there and causing a few folks to lose electricity. So again, that's kind of the storyline there right now. Nothing overwhelming. I mean, we have thousands still in the dark from Texas. Storms last night and storms today as well. But that's a pretty nasty weather on Houston developed pretty rapidly on us there in Harris County. So lightning really proven to be tragic there, even based on some media reports. So again, in terms of a home fire, it sounds like may have been caused by lightning and leading to at least one fatality based on media reports there. So I was out toward Texas, Harris County, and Houston, in that vicinity. But again, just continuing to watch things here. I think that's going to do it for now. I just wanted to jump on for a little bit since we had that confirmed gust earlier on. If we got more warnings that we need to jump on for, we will. We have our radar stream going on YouTube, our separate stream. We have two different streams on YouTube going. We have this one. We have the radar stream in this one here in just a moment. But feel free to switch to that radar stream to keep an eye on that loop there. You'll be able to see the lightning, you'll be able to see some different factors with the storminess here in play. So definitely can be kind of important in this type of situation here as you're kind of following along with things here in the Weather Center. So that's over on YouTube at Cloud to Weather, another stream there, a radar stream on that platform. So again, we have the one warning, but it's not really overwhelming in terms of that level of concern to me. We have a severe thunderstorm warning that's popped up in Louisiana, by the way. If you're wondering, we weren't talking about anything over there earlier on, but toward Terrebonne Parish. So severe thunderstorm there could be producing some gusts there up for about 60 miles an hour on Houma, Louisiana, and quarter-size hail. So definitely always got to be careful with that lightning there in those parts of our country as well. But again, one warning, pretty rural zone there. We'll keep our eyes on it. That's going to do it for now. You see some of these areas having a little bit more rain-cooled areas. They're looking at stability here. Some of our values up there to some degree, but not as high as they can be on summertime days here. So not expecting just an overwhelming amount of warnings. You have a little bit of accent to the coast. I will mention real quick, we have some coastal flood alerts in play there, and still some higher rip current risk because of some different things. Looking at our wind directs in here. I definitely got to be kind of careful there because rip currents can be a problem for you. But looking toward the East Coast, I know there's coastal flood alerts still something to contend with for sure as we're looking toward different spots. I'll kind of really quickly, as I know we've been on the verge of wrapping this up for a few minutes, but different developments here keeping me going a little bit longer. But coastal flood advisory there, 6 a.m. on Tuesday for the St. Johns River Basin. And then off the southeast Georgia, northeast Florida beaches, there's really a coastal flood advisory there as well. We've got to watch for that minor coastal flooding, but for high rip currents, dangerous rip currents, I know that can be a problem for folks. Can be deadly in some instances, those rip currents. So you got to be really mindful of that, as even though things are clearer out there right now toward the first coast, towards southeast Georgia, you don't want to get caught off guard. So just always monitor different things in the weather world. For now, meteorologist Casey Cloud, that's going to do it. If I need to jump back in, we will. Severe thunderstorm warning still for portions of Ocala, more rural area, to about 4:45. Not really talking about Crawfordville at this point, but areas there as we're looking toward the south and west with that box. And we're soft choppy there and Sanborn kind of. So we'll monitor things, and if something really escalates, we'll let you know. But otherwise, thanks so much for tuning in, and have a great rest of your weekend.